You're watching KSL 5 News.
We continue our road to understanding in the beautiful city of St. George tonight.
New Specialist Shara Park joins us live from Dixie. Shara, you've had a time to speak with some of the residents down in the southern end of our state. What are their concerns there?
Well, Deanie and Dave, good evening to you from St. George. We actually just threw on our jackets a few moments ago because we've got a storm headed our way, so we could get rain at any moment. But take a look behind me here. We are up on Airport Road, where the old airport used to be, overlooking the city. You can see the iconic Dixie there on the red rock, and then the city below. And people here, they are worried about the growth of this city, the demand on resources like water and infrastructure. But with all of that growth, residents are also very concerned about the lack of a certain type of housing.
There is so much to love about St. George. Amazing outdoor recreation.
You know, whatever you're into, there's pretty much a thing around here to do it.
Friendly hospitality.
268. It's a big enough city, but it feels small. It's got this nice small town atmosphere.
And the weather. But as St. George grows, there are growing pains.
There's just not the right doctors down here.
We have to be careful. Intersections are getting busier.
My wife and I have been looking for a really good, affordable, place to live or rent or for a while now, and it's just not available.
Affordable housing is a real issue here, specifically the rental market. There is just not enough supply of affordable multifamily rentals to meet demand. In fact, according to research firm NAI Excel, the number of available rentals in St. George is below 1%.
Come on, let's go. I mean, this is it.
Kyle Wall is a single father of two.
It's been really rough. Big T-Rex.
3 months ago, he was homeless.
I've made some bad decisions. I've had to suffer those consequences and pay my debt.
Wall is working a minimum wage job, trying to make ends meet. But finding affordable housing for his family was a struggle.
When you have such a high rent and such a low income, it just doesn't go together right.
A 2-bedroom payment standard jumps up to $824.
With help from the St. George Housing Authority, Wall qualified for a federal grant to subsidize his rent. There are hundreds of families in St. George applying for similar grants.
There's definitely an issue right now. We see people coming in and out of our doors every single day looking for housing. We do have an affordable housing list or below market rent list or a tax credit list, but they are all full right now and have waiting lists. So it's tough for individuals to find housing, let alone affordable housing.
So why, when there is so much building going on in St. George, is it so hard to build apartment complexes?
Or they move away.
Mari Krashwitz says there are several reasons why builders don't want to build apartment complexes in St. George. The cost of material is up, limited land to build on. There is a labor shortage. Residents don't want the buildings. And one of the biggest reasons, impact fees.
For example, the Washington County Water Conservancy District, if you build a 4,000 square foot single family home, you're going to pay about $7,417 in 2017. If you're building a multifamily 50-unit complex, each one of those units is the same price. It's $7,417.
One plan for affordable housing in St. George is the Riverwalk Village, a 55-unit complex for those who qualify. The only problem is the city still needs about $1 million before they can break ground.
That'll be a great thing, but that's going to be a drop in the bucket to what we need as far as housing goes, as far as affordable and just housing itself.
While the city continues to look for ways to help families find affordable housing, families like the Walls hope it happens sooner than later.
I work 6 days a week, and then I come home, and I wake up and I do it all again. Oh, gotcha!
So more families like theirs can find stability in St. George.
I see these kids as often as I can. I spend as much time with them as I can, and, we're just working on building our life back together.
And the St. George Housing Authority says that its Section 8 voucher program is a program that assists about 275 families. Well, it will open for the first time in about 3 years this August. And the staff tells me the day that opens, there will be about 1,000 people lined up outside their door hoping to get on the waiting list to get one of those vouchers for affordable housing. Now, we also want to talk about the good things that are happening in St. George. There is a ton. We've learned so much over the last few days. You know, we've got the expansion of the IHC hospital here in St. George. Or we could talk about the growth at Dixie State University. It is growing tremendously right now. But those are stories we're going to have to wait for another day, because as we talk to residents here in St. George, they told us over and over again there was a specific park that we needed to go visit because it represents what this city is doing well and doing right. We'll tell you more about that coming up tonight at 10. We'll send it back up to you folks in Salt Lake City.
Well, Shara, this has been so interesting to see the specific issues in communities that we weren't even aware of. So we'll look for you tonight at 10. Thanks. Tomorrow, the Road to Understanding takes us to Cedar City and Panguitch. And new specialist Alex Cabrera will be in Emory, a community faced with a sluggish economy and slow growth, and what residents there say needs to happen to facilitate change.
Next.